Welcome back for part two. So we are going to be picking up some more sandpaper as well as paint cups and stuff from Benjamin Moore, which is a local paint shop that we have here. And so me and James are just heading down there. I'm cruising around in the wife's new FRS, and then got Mr. Brooks over there on the bike. And so we're just gonna be cruising down there to get some more supplies, and then we're gonna start possibly doing a color sand, but if everything looks good, we're gonna go straight to clear coating. I have a 2007 R1 and I'm still not brave enough to do wheelies. So I will leave that to him. So yep, he's flying down the freeway right now. So we're having a little bit of fun while we're heading to grab some paint. There's like hardly like anybody on the road whatsoever. I mean, I do recommend if you're gonna do this stuff to do it out in the middle of nowhere, but I'd say, I mean, I can't control people. So guys, when we went to the paint store, we ended up getting some paint sticks, as well as some towels and some gloves and everything, as well as 2,000 grit sandpaper, so that we can finish up with the Miata over there. So we've got all the coats and everything all done. So we are getting ready to start on that clear coat. So super excited to see how this goes. I'll show you guys what it looks like right now. So as you can see, it's all nice and shiny and all ready to go. We did the door jambs and everything. So she's looking good. So we're gonna start mixing up that clear coat and we'll get started. So guys, I'm mixing up my clear coat right now. So this clear coat is 4-to-1 and it's from Tamco. It's called Glamour Clear. So this is the clear coat and the paint and everything that I've been using. So I'm super excited to see how this clear coat looks. We're gonna end up doing 3 coats just to give it that deep pearl black. And we'll show you guys what it looks like. All right guys, another update. So we've got the Miata all out of paint and everything. She looks beautiful. So now we just got the rest of the stuff that's actually in the paint booth. I already primed it, I already base coated it, and now it's just sitting waiting for the clear coat to dry. So as you can see, they're all shiny, nice, and I'm gonna probably put another coat on there, so we'll kind of see how that turns out. If you guys ever plan on doing this process, I am using the Tamco paint. And so the paint that I ended up doing was their jet black. And then I ended up going with a slow reducer just because my shop or my paint booth doesn't have a heater in it. And so that's how I'm able to accomplish this beautiful, like pearly black look. And as for my primer, I went with the urethane, which is from Eastwood. It honestly worked really well. They usually say that you shouldn't mix paint, but where I had a urethane primer with a urethane paint, they actually went really well together. And then I ended up trying the Tamco Glamorous, where is it at? It's called the Glamorous Clear Coat right here. So that stuff works really amazing. So what we went ahead and did first is on the Miata, I went ahead and sanded it down with a 120 grit just to smooth it out really nicely. Then on it to a 220, I went to a 320, which was quite the process. I didn't take it down to bare metal. And then any additional repairs or anything that I had to do, I used Bondo. And I also used a paste like on the hood where I'm planning on putting like the vents and stuff. And then after that, I ended up sanding it to a 400, which then got ready for primer because the primer will hide anything from a 400 grit and up. Once the primer was on there, you don't have to do this, but I ended up sanding the primer to a 600 to give it a nice smooth coat. So once I sanded that to a 600, then I took an 800 and went over it just to smooth it out even that much more. And then after the 600, that's when I ended up laying this jet black base coat on it. And then After that, as long as the paint turned out really well, then I went and moved on to the clear coat. If for any reason that your paint does not turn out well, you have runs, anything like that, take an 800 grit or 600 grit and then sand it all the way to a 2000 grit and just take enough off just to get you past that stage, and then go and re-base coat it, and then you're good for primer. And on the primering stage, when you primer it, if you have any runs, you can use a 2000 grit or you can use a 1000 grit or a 600 grit or an 800 grit, and that also will help get rid of the runs, and anything above 1000 grit will not show in your clear coat. So if you guys are kind of wondering how I did this, that's how I achieved this beautiful black look. And honestly, I love this paint. Like, I was kind of hesitant on using Tamco because I've heard some bad things, but I've also heard really good things. And so I have to say, if you guys want paint on your car, I recommend Tamco. So I hope you guys really enjoy the way that this looks, because I was super impressed. So this is something possible that you could do at home. All right, guys, so we finished up the paint and the bodywork and everything with the car. In the next video, I'm gonna show you guys how to cut and buff paint. So this is what it looks like.